what the hell is going on with building and construction productivity. Hey everyone, it's Scott here with another daily property update here at the beautiful Barangaroo. Check it out, guys. With the crown over there, looking awesome. The Productivity Commission put out this report, and it actually does show that productivity in the construction industry, the housing construction industry, has actually dropped by half. It is 53% down. And you compare this against productivity in the rest of the economy, productivity is up actually by about 50%. Well, I can tell you, the tradies here in Australia are the number one best tradespeople, most skilled, most safe, most professional, high-end workmanship, hardest working people, probably almost in the whole of our economy. These are great men and women in this industry. I'm going to unpack it all right now as to why productivity in housing construction has dropped by half and what this actually means. Because at the end of the day, if productivity is falling, it means that it's getting more expensive to actually build houses. And one of the big reasons why we are not keeping up with our commitments to build new homes is because the cost of building new homes now has become so expensive. So we're building way less homes with more people, but here's why. Today's stat is actually jaw-dropping. Australia now builds half as many homes per hour worked as we did 30 years ago. The Productivity Commission calls it a productivity collapse in housing construction. Now, over the past 3 decades, productivity has dropped 53%. Labor productivity is down 12%. This means fewer homes, slower builds, and higher costs. Even if demand spiked, the system actually cannot keep pace. This is why housing supply remains under a lot of pressure, even with record migration. Now, you've got to look at some of my other videos because I do actually show that since World War II, when our population was growing 23-24% every decade, we were easily able to keep up with our house building commitments. That actually in the last 10 years, the population has only grown about 16%, which is much lower than when we go back to World War II, but we're struggling to keep up. And this productivity problem that we've got is one of the big issues. It's not only the productivity, but it's what productivity means. It means that housing gets more expensive. So why has productivity actually collapsed when we have the best tradespeople in the world? We actually have smaller builders here in Australia. There's no scale. So Australia's housing industry is dominated by small firms and sole traders. Now, unlike manufacturing or mining, there's little industrial scale production, meaning we don't get the benefits or the economies of scale, efficiency, or innovation that you do get with bigger companies. As an example, guys, I know we hate on Coles, I know we hate on Woolworths, but at the end of the day, if we didn't have these big chains investing in very efficient supply chains, technology, and so on, if we didn't have that, we would actually pay more for our groceries because we'd have more smaller corner shop people who are just less productive. Compare it, say, to an organization like Bunnings, okay? They can buy at bulk, they can sell at cheaper costs, and that's why companies like Bunnings are doing very well. Now, we just don't have that in the housing and construction industry. Number 2, we have regulatory red and green tape. So there are very complex planning approvals, zoning, and also environmental regulations. This adds years to projects, and it actually adds a lot of layers of compliance, paperwork, consultants, and costs that don't actually pay people that are doing the construction. So you've got to pay a lot more money. You've got to slow things down quite a lot. You've got to have more certifications. And I'm not saying those things are bad. Obviously, here in Australia, we've got a high quality of builds and housing, very safe place, very high craftsmanship. However, the issue is that have we taken it too far to the point where now we have so many costs for the red tape and the green tape and all the compliance rules and regulations, it's adding $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to the build of a new home. In fact, even more. 3, we've got fragmented supply chains. Now, builders rely on dozens of subcontractors and imported materials. When materials spike, like timber and steel during COVID, projects stall and productivity tanks. Number 4, design and code creep. Minimum standards for energy efficiency, accessibility, and safety have risen dramatically, arguably good for quality, bad for speed, bad for cost. This adds time and cost and complexity to every new build compared with 30 years ago. Number 5, stop-start demand cycles. Boom and bust cycles in approvals and incentives, e.g. home builder grants, then cliff drop-offs, disrupt efficiency. Companies don't invest in new processes or technology when demand feels unpredictable. Skills shortages. Training hasn't kept up with demand. We have fewer apprentices, we have an aging workforce, and in fact, our immigration policy, we haven't actually targeted more tradespeople. We've been bringing in other professions, but not necessarily people for construction. This has driven wages up without lifting output. Number 7, no innovation culture. Other countries have embraced prefabrication, modular builds, and large-scale construction tech. Where do you see this in Australia? We just don't have it. So productivity didn't collapse because workers got lazy. It collapsed because government buried the industry in red tape. Builders stayed small and fragmented, and we never innovated. 30 years later, we're building homes the same way, just slower and more expensive. Guys, make sure you tune in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more daily updates like this. Get the information that you need so that you can be a property insider. Take care, everyone.